All right, let's trace the emotional arc of this story together. We're going to follow a journey that goes all the way from the shadows of heartache right into the daylight. It's kind of like opening up a personal diary, where every page just shimmers with the story of letting go of old ghosts and finally finding some hope.
And every story has to start somewhere, right? This one starts with this single, incredibly vulnerable confession. This one line, it just lays it all out there. It's the core problem, a habit of looking back, of being stuck with what's already over. It immediately gives us this deeply personal, diary-like feel for the whole thing.
So that leads us right into the first chapter of this story, Living with Ghosts. And we all know this feeling, don't we? It's that heavy, heavy weight of yesterday, where the past isn't just a memory, it's right there with you, haunting the present moment.
Wow. The brutal honesty here is what makes this so powerful. Eating out of the trash. I mean, that is such a raw and unflinching image. It just perfectly captures that self-destructive loop of going back to something that's been thrown away, knowing you deserve so much better, but still picking at the familiar scraps.
So, what does this stage really feel like? Well, it's defined by this profound sense of disconnection, the idea that your own house feels haunted, that points to a serious unease. And where are these ghosts coming from? It looks like they come from relationships where one person is all in, in it for real, while the other person is just a pose. It's that very specific kind of pain, of feeling lonely even when you're not actually alone.
So how do you break a cycle like that? Well, it's not some slow, gradual fade. It's a sudden, stark shift. One moment you're emotionally starving, just desperate for something real, and then the next, you're not. It's that snap, that one little moment of clarity that just changes absolutely everything.
And that breakthrough, that snap, it leads us right into our second act, Dancing Through Lightning. This is the real turning point. See, the chaos isn't something you just have to get through anymore. It becomes the very storm where you find a whole new kind of strength. So often that big change in perspective comes from the outside. In this case, it's a mother's wisdom that completely reframes the situation. The struggle isn't just suffering anymore, it becomes this act of defiance, of grace. You weren't just surviving the storm, you were dancing in it. And that, right there, changes everything. So, what's the catalyst for this newfound strength? A lot of the time, it's someone new showing up. This number 2, it represents that exact moment, the introduction of another person who changes the whole story. A healthy, new connection can literally interrupt the old pattern, breaking that lonely cycle of one and showing you a completely different emotional world. And the impact is just, wow. It's immediate and it's profound. This isn't just another fling. It's a connection that feels brand new, like nothing that's come before it. Never met no one like you before. That's the sound of a clean break. Suddenly, all those ghosts and all those fake poses from the past, they just kind of fade into the background when you're faced with something this real. And all of this leads us to the emotional climax of the entire story. This is the big one. The core revelation is that huge shift from looking for happiness in other people to finally getting that you have to create it for yourself from the inside out. And here it is. This is the most crucial part. The new person, they were a catalyst for sure, but they weren't the cure. The real lasting change had to come from within. It's the realization that you just can't wait around for someone else to be your light. You have to learn to make your own sunshine. This is the moment of true power in the story. There's this really beautiful metaphor that helps lock in that new understanding. If life is a song, well then endings aren't failures. They're just the natural end of a verse. It helps you accept that moving on isn't just something you have to do, it's a fundamental part of the music itself. And just notice how this totally reframes the entire past. What felt like failure is now the very thing that sets you free. The breakdown of the old life is what made room for the new one. So failure becomes this kind of unlikely guide that in the end leads you home, back to safety and back to yourself. And so, here we are at the final act. After the haunting, after the storm, and after that huge self-realization, there is finally peace. This is that moment of embracing the clarity and the freedom of a brand new beginning. This image is just the perfect antidote to that haunted house where we started. That oppressive, closed-in feeling is totally gone, and it's been replaced by this wide-open, light-filled sky. It's really the ultimate picture of freedom and possibility. And the story wraps up with this gentle whisper, almost to yourself. It's the sound of reassurance, of a quiet confidence that the journey has led to a good place. The struggle is over. The past is at peace. It is finally all right. And that leaves us with one last thought, kind of turning this journey back to you. After all the ghosts, the lightning, and learning to make your own sunshine, it makes you think, doesn't it? When was the last time you really felt that sense of clarity? That feeling of the sky finally opening up just for you?